don't think I'll ever get rid of that music.
No, it's peppy.
It's like you're standing there and you're like, I don't want to dance, but you.
It's
just people like, oh, okay,
keep you
bopping.
bopping. Absolutely,
Right.
It's got that flavor of the old
right.
NHL tune.
Oh yeah, right.
You know.
Okay, cool. Well,
I like it.
Jay approves.
He does.
Well, I'm sure you approve too of yesterday's game against Saginaw.
Oh my goodness, yes.
But I mean, here's. You heard me say something before we went live. I can't say here now, but it was like, oh, this team, like, here we are taking out the first place team in the division and the conference. First place team.
Absolutely.
And here's the Sarnia Sting going, hello, and Pastajov in there, right?
4 points.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was 4 points.
And Ty Voigt, Angus McDonnell, and
Angus.
Bill Manis is in there, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, and wow.
I think Ty was 3 points on the night and stuff.
And
so,
Ty still leading the points for goals in the OHL. So we don't have to talk about Oshawa then, do we?
Well,
like the Friday game.
Well, how was the post?
It was good.
Post game conference.
Well, you know, I think they knew. They kind of said like, yeah, we sold the farm, right? So
yeah,
it was interesting. We did have a young fella by the name of DJ. He was probably 9 or 10 years old, and he said, "How do I ask a question to the coach?" And we didn't know the coach was coming, of course, and so we let him. We put him on the microphone. He wanted to ask, and it was a great question. How does the coach decide who gets to be the shooter for the shootout?
Okay, yeah.
And great question. And I think, we had Dillingham and Voigt there, and they were kind of like, we don't really know. It's kind of like what he feels in his gut, who's been playing well that game. And that's pretty much what we saw there, right? But our record with shootouts is not a good one.
Well, you know what? I mean, our record in overtime and or shootouts is not necessarily
I did
stellar.
not want to see overtime. Wow.
No, well, you know what? I mean, the overtime period was interesting. I mean, there was some good hockey, but again, I think it just kind of goes to show, what is maybe one of the Sting's bigger challenges.
Yeah.
And it's that, that oops, you make one error and the other team is going to capitalize.
For sure.
Right? And I think that's a real key challenge that I think the Sting face, and they need to find a way to get to get over that.
And,
right?
and that being said, I think
I
think that works the other way too. Is I think the Sting aren't catching or taking advantage of the opportunities that the opposing team gives us either.
Well, and that's fair. I would say, I think the bigger problem for me is that in that game against Oshawa here, our last home game, I think it was blatantly obvious that, we made some critical errors. Coughing up the puck, trying to pass it from when, on our backside kind of thing, not being able to stand up.
There's that fancy schmancy.
Yeah, exactly. And those kinds of things. And I think that's a challenge this thing's going to have to figure out.
Yeah. And I saw a lot of comments after many of our broadcasts there at the Friday game. That was one comment was like, stop trying to be so fancy. Get back to basics.
Shoot the puck.
Shoot the puck. Those were the three that I kept seeing in the comments.
Yeah.
It was kind of unanimous in the comments. So, all right. Well, here we are today taking on the Barrie Colts. And, the Sarnia Sting just below about middle of the pack right now.
Right.
And, of course, today is the teddy bear toss. You've got your teddy bear.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Although, look at the snout on this thing. He's more like a Teddy Aardvark. Really?
Wait a minute.
What?
Wait for it.
Uh-oh.
Because I knew. So I don't know if these count. Like I don't know if is that Nemo?
Yeah, sure it is.
Kind of a
Well,
Nemo?
it's close.
He's missing, and then
He's missing the white stripe, but
I got 3.
you got 3.
This guy's like,
I
there's a
love the
schnoz,
elephant. Yeah, that's
right?
a schnoz.
You
Yeah.
know? Wait, there's more.
Wait, there's more in your bag of
And
tricks.
I'm not sure I want to get rid of this one. This cute little fella right there.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
Woo-hoo.
thank you, Jennifer.
Look at you go.
Jennifer got sent out shopping.
Showing us up.
Right? And I was like,
I'm going to put this guy down here.
I need some. I need a teddy. I said I need a teddy bear,
Yes,
and she comes home with 3.
with a fish, an elephant, and a bear.
Right. And then she left them all there at the door for me to make sure I
Nice.
didn't forget. I thought she was going to keep
Go
one for
Jenny
herself,
Moons.
but-
You're the best.
Right. So, teddy bear toss last year brought in like 4,000 teddy bears.
Crazy.
So they're trying to break the record this year and going big. They're looking for 5,000.
Yeah,
dropped
well,
out
you know
there.
what? It's pretty much a sellout in this place tonight. So
I would say
I would think we have a good. I'm optimistic.
I believe that it is sold out. I heard that
Yes.
the other day it was sold out. So
Yeah.
I was like, wow, okay, that's pretty
Yeah.
awesome, right? You know, so
It is.
I will say,
Means I'm going to have to actually sit in my seat though
yeah,
tonight. That's-
behave, right?
yeah.
I will say though that just going back to the Oshawa game for a minute. When it got into overtime, I mean that was an intense overtime. The 3-on-3.
Sure it was. Sure
they
it
were
was.
playing. They were playing hard, and boy, the crowd got into it. And the Go Sting Go,
Oh.
you could hear it outside of the arena, and that's something that I think this team really
Well,
feeds
we were
off
so
as well.
close. Like I mean,
Right?
most of us were on the edge of our seat
Right.
through that whole period, and it was.
I got
You know.
things set up at the post game, and then I stood down by the door of the restaurant there, and I was watching, and I was yelling and screaming. I was like, "Oh, oh, yeah!"
Oh,
People
yeah,
are looking
yeah.
at me. This is the guy in the tie. Right? Is he important or something?
Absolutely.
Just put it in the Anyway, so it's nice, and I think today we're going to hear a lot of that here today too. I
Yeah.
think the fans still believe in this team, and
Yeah.
I do for sure. I mean, especially when they come out and beat Saginaw again, a first place team. I don't know what it is. Like
Yeah.
we just beat the first place team, but we struggle when. Is it like when you play
we had
somebody
some-
better than you play better?
Well, I always, you know what? I like to think that that's part of the case anyway,
Right.
Dave, because there is a tendency. It's a human nature thing to play to the intensity of your opponent, right?
I would think so.
And so you're going to play some stronger teams, and it's going to elevate your game. You got no choice but
Yeah.
to elevate your game. Otherwise, you end up losing 10-0 to a team that you shouldn't be losing 10-0 to.
Oh, you had to
right?
bring
So-
that up.
Well, I'm just,
No, I get
you
it.
know,
I'm just saying.
just saying.
Scratches tonight: Joshua Hoover, Ryan Mast, Austin Harper, Carson Campbell, Nolan Burke, Sean Doherty. Obviously,
Still some big names.
yeah,
are
like
out, yeah.
like Nolan Burke. I know you're not a huge fan of him, but Ryan Mast, I think he's a contributor to this team.
I would love to have that argument at some
Okay.
point. And okay. And again, nothing against Ryan Mast. I'm sure he's a perfectly great guy.
Well, it's got nothing to do with a nice guy.
But for me, it's just another one. He's another one of those guys I just would really want to see way more of.
right.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm not doubting his skills.
Well, I guess that's what I was saying,
there are
yeah.
some people that see those skills, for sure, and I do see.
You just
he's
want to
got
see
some
more
size.
of it show up.
I
Is
just
that it?
want to see more of it show up in a more, contributory manner. I just don't think he's giving enough to the team right now on defense.
Okay.
We need some leadership on defense, and our D seems to be one of the biggest areas for improvement. And frankly, as one of the guys who sees the most minutes when he is here and playing, I want to see more out of him.
All right.
I want to see some leadership out of him. I want to see, him using his size a little bit more to, grind a little harder in the
All right.
corners, to get that puck off the thing, to guard those blue lines properly and stuff. And it's just stuff I just don't seem to see
Right.
as often as I'd like it to
What about
happen.
Austin Harper? We're missing him about it there. I think.
Yeah, you know what? But Harper's a young guy,
Yep.
and you know what? I mean, I think he's going to get better with a little bit of seasoning and stuff like that. He's also not a terrifically huge guy,
No.
But I do like. We've had some young guys that are really showing up. Unfortunately, Harper's been out for a little bit, and but take a look at guys like it's Easton Wainwright.
Oh, right.
Similar kind of a player.
Yeah.
Comes up,
But
young
he's been
guy,
showing up a
and
lot
he's
for
been
this.
showing up,
Yeah.
hard
You've always
for
been
it.
a fan
And
of him too. I know.
I have been, absolutely.
Yeah.
I see lots of good stuff. I mean, we've got lots of good parts to this team. Like what we need is those people to kind of glue those parts together.
We're missing in the consistency side
I
of
think
things,
so,
right?
absolutely.
And
And nothing against Dill, because I'm sure Dill's doing everything he can. But I mean, he was in and then he was out. And then he was
I have to say,
back in
I've talked to some guys who've been around this team for many, many years, and they've all said, I have never seen a team have so much unluckiness when it comes to players being off. He says,
sure.
I've never seen that. And a couple of the guys, I was talking with Jake Bordy the other day. He's like, I've never seen, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And then with Dillingham's a super prime example of that.
Sure.
With
but we got Limper Lance back in the game in Saginaw.
Saginaw, that certainly helped.
And I think that that certainly helped, absolutely.
Shazika's starting between the pipes tonight, this afternoon for against Barrie there, and I'm happy to see that because I think, like we said, he's only started like 3 times this year.
Yep.
And he needs to get some more ice time with the possibility of losing Benny Gaudreau to camp.
And that's probably a big part of why they're doing it right now.
That would make sense.
Also, Barrie is a beatable team, and if Surzika can stay on top of things, I think we have a good chance.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be some good hockey, and we'll see how well he's going to fare against
I'm excited to see it because
so.
I've had that conversation. Well, you and I have talked about it a bit, and several others where I was like, boy, I'd really like to see him in there.
Yep.
I think Benny's having a hard time out there. I know you say it's not all on him. It never is all on the goalie, but I think he is having – I think he's tired. I think he's hurt a little, and I just mean he's had a lot of puck shot at him. And that
absolutely
that has a wear down factor eventually over time.
Sure,
then the reliability that the fans and the players are looking for from you as a goalie, and I think Benny probably appreciates.
I think we all put some undue pressure on our goalies.
Yeah.
I mean they really should be the last line of defense.
Yeah.
Not the only line of defense.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So as much as Benny has managed to keep us in a few games, clearly over the last few games, he's let in some goals that I don't think were really the kind of things that he would normally let in.
No.
And he, without any defense in front of him, you know what? I think it's. I mean, I can only imagine how frustrating that is.
Yeah.
He can't be the guy that saves the team.
No,
for sure. It just can't work that way.
Team being the key word.
Absolutely.
Team, right? And
100%. It's a team sport.
This team's got it in them, like they said, or like we saw yesterday. So let's see what comes out with today. They've really got to start moving more. They like as far as they could say, they got to find that glue, right? And then come up with some more
I have a
consistency.
suggestion for the glue.
Do you?
Shoot the puck.
Yeah, well, there you go. You're not sorry.
No, you're right. I'm not sorry. Not
sorry.
even in the least bit. Not sorry.
I hear that for sure. All right, well, we'll see what happens come out at the end of the first period. Of course, we'll be back, as always, with hopefully positive updates and a smiling Jay Peckham. You know, I look down
That
there
would
and
be
I'm
a good
like,
gig.
here he comes. There he comes, oh boy.
And he's
And
got
then
the
I'm like,
knell
oh,
of
here he
doom on his
comes.
face.
Right?
Yeah,
So there you go.
exactly.
All right, well, the Sarnia Sting have been out warmed up, and we're just a few moments away from them starting. Of course, post-game press conference coming up later. Until then, with the Sarnia Sting live from the concourse, I'm David Burrows and my good friend Jay Peckham.
Go Sting, go!